be speaking about the themes of hunger and lost childhood in the short story called The Rice, which is written in Maithili language by Somdeva, which is translated into English by Ramesh Chandra Jha. We can find many famous Maithili writers who have contributed to the literature, like we can find Jaykant Mishra, we can find Mayanand Mishra, we can also remember the works of Harimohan Jha, Prabhas Kumar Chaudhary, Rajkamal Chaudhary. All these writers we can remember when we talk of Maithili literature. Coming to this short story, the short story has few characters. Half of the characters are named, half of the characters are unnamed. And we can find one character called Pulchand who is not presented in the short story. So what happens to Pulchand's mother, what happens to his wife, what happens to his daughters happen to be the plot of this short story. So the story opens where Pulchand's mother tries to get the rice. So she hears that the rice is being sold for 1 rupee 35 paise. So she stands in a long queue. People were stampeding on each other. She bears the sunlight, the heat of the sun, and she becomes really exhausted to stand in the queue to get the rice, 2 kilos of rice for 1 rupee 35 paise. So she returns home after carrying the 2 kilos rice. So before that, we are told that how the hunger is taking away the family. So we find Pulchand who hasn't eaten anything for 5 days. He just has eaten only 2 chapatis in a day. And he was continuously working. His wife, who was working in a contractor's house, she happens to leave him 4 months ago. So the family happens to lose one of the prominent members and it happens to be struggling. So we can find the very important aspect, that is caste. So it is mentioned in the story that when Pulchand's wife was there, their household activities, their quality of life was no inferior to the upper caste. So it's like we can find the kind of representation where the upper class is characterized by refinement and the lower class people always they struggle to attain such kind of a status. In the sense, ironically, the writer tries to talk of the caste differences. So we find the old woman, Pulchand's mother, she returns, and the 3 daughters of Pulchand, they were waiting near the entrance of the home. So we find the eldest one, Budia of 11 years, then we find Tunia of 8 years, and we find the last one, the younger one, Munia of 4 years. They were waiting. So they were happy to see their grandmother carrying the rice, and they start cooking the rice. So the progress of the rice is being cooked is very much mentioned in the story. We find how they miss their mother, and we find how Budia happens to behave like a grown-up woman, and we find these people enjoy having the rice. So we find these 2 characters, the 2 characters, the 2 daughters, Tunia and Munia, they happen to sing, I'll eat rice, I'll eat rice. In that way they start dancing. So that's how the hunger is being portrayed in the story. So we find the rice is being cooked. Then they say that this girl, Budia, she tries to pick up the grains of the rice to see whether the rice is completely cooked or not. So when she tries, the younger one, Tunia, she says, I am already hungry, I haven't eaten anything, so now it is properly cooked, you bring the rice, I want to eat. So that kind of frustration we can find with the character of Tunia. Then they also discuss who should have the rice first. So when they were discussing all these things, the end statement, which is very much disheartening, that captivates the reader, where Tunia says, in the sense, she watches the fire and she says the rice is being fallen because into the fire because the pot is cracked. So that's how the story ends. So the rice the fire, it consumes the rice. So that happens to be the end of the story. So the story happens to be a metaphorical one, where it signifies, in the sense, the cracked pot, it signifies the lives of the people. These people, these three daughters, they become grown up before their actual age has come. So they lost the childhood. So the cracked pot, it symbolizes their life. That's what is very much metaphorically portrayed in the story.